What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith. And wow, did we just witness a fantastic game or what? Salute to the Michigan Wolverines. This was a game that a lot of people had Ohio State winning. The type of quarterback that CJ Stroud is. He's the type of quarterback who's been known to really pick apart defenses limb for limb and have them really at a slow death. Well, that did not happen today. And not only did he have a meltdown in the fourth quarter, this was actually a really good game until the fourth quarter in Michigan. It was nice to take a seat. They just trusted the process, man. A couple things I want to talk about. Y'all, do y'all remember a couple years ago when Coach Jim Harbaugh, he was about to get fired during the it was during the COVID years. It's 2 years ago when the Michigan program was not looking all that. It wasn't looking all that. And for them to take and trust this coach and for them to be where they are today, I mean, they could possibly win the whole gamut at the end of the day. I mean, what a game. I mean, this is a game that was neck and neck. First half was amazing. I'm like, wow, what a game. Third quarter, man, things started to heat up a little bit. Both teams started to get a little bit more on the scoreboard. And then at this point, I'm thinking like, man, Ohio State's on turn on any minute. I mean, you look at, Marvin Harrison Jr., man, probably my favorite receiver in all of college football, man. But to take and see what Michigan did today, not only J.J. McCarthy, who he even said at the end of the game, he dreamed of playing on that field since he was 5 years old. And for him to be so humble and say, hey, man, the job is not done yet. The job, I'll fix my camera here real quick. The job is not done yet. What a game. And another thing I want to take and talk about, 45-23, Michigan takes and wins. Comment below on what you guys predicted the score to be. I had Michigan winning this one, but I had Michigan winning by like a field goal. I did not have Michigan taking winning like they did. 45-23. And then those two runs at the end by Donovan Edwards. Man, he put a dagger in the heart. He absolutely put a dagger in the heart of this Ohio State team. I mean, this was absolute pandemonium. Another thing I want to take and talk about too is CJ Stroud. Now, CJ Stroud, I think he is going to go on to have an awesome NFL career. But man, he at the end of this game, when he didn't show that he could be very clutch, and oftentimes, it's he showed his need for more room of development in this game. He threw 2 interceptions that cost his team the game, and then Michigan, man, their defense, man, showed up really, really well in this game too. So, man, salute to the Michigan Wolverines. I'm going to take and go over a few stats here on the game, and I'm actually going to share my screen. So let me go ahead and share this really quick to y'all. All right, share screen. Give me just about 10 seconds here as I share my screen. And I go over the stats for Michigan and go over the stats for Ohio State. And I want to take and talk about a few players for sure. Let's start off with J.J. McCarthy, man, going 12 for 24, 263 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. And then, of course, we have Khalil Mullins. This was awesome. J.J. McCarthy, I understand he's not the flashiest player, but man, he's a very, very good player, man. This is a young man who he not only loves Michigan, he loves football. And I kind of see a system quarterback, but that's not a dig at him. He's a good quarterback, man, and he could go on eventually to have a very long NFL career. I don't see him being a first-round QB, man, but man, he made the throws that counted, man. So who knows what can come from this. Then, of course, none other than Donovan Edwards. This was almost a repeat. I know y'all remember last year, man, where Hassan Haskins lit the freaking world on fire. Hassan Haskins last year lit the world on fire. Shout out to Hassan Haskins, good friend of mine. He's been on the show. I've interviewed him myself. And also as well, hit that subscribe button while you're here, folks. But Donovan Edwards, 22 carries, 216 yards. And they even said the first 10 carries of the game were like, and not a whole lot was happening. And Donovan Edwards it's like, I don't know if there's any anime fans in here, but he went Super Saiyan Goku, man. This guy he went off. 22 carries, 216 yards. Another thing I also want to talk about is J.J. McCarthy. I mean, 6 carries, 27 yards. He's just a guy who, he can move on his feet, man. And it's nice to have a quarterback like that. He's He's definitely a quarterback that a lot of NFL teams will eventually be able to benefit from as well too. Then of course receiving, man, Cornelius Johnson did the dang thing. 2 touchdowns, 4 receptions for 160 yards. Hot dang. I'm no mathematician, but that's like 30, 60, 90, yeah, that's like 30, 40 something yards per catch. Yeah, it says 40 average. It shows on here, man. So that's pretty dang good. And then, of course, he spread the ball around the field. Roman Wilson, AJ Henning, Donovan Edwards, Luke Schoonmaker, Colston Loveland, Ronnie Bell. I mean, everybody kind of got a taste. This was just such a freaking good game. Now let's go over to Ohio State. Now Ohio State is a different offense, right? You come over here to Michigan, and Michigan, you got JJ McCarthy. He is kind of a system quarterback. But when you have a good defense like Michigan has, and a cowbell, and I don't mean to call him an animal or anything, but man, Donovan Edwards, man, you heard him at the end of the game. All glory to God, all glory to God. He's just real humble, but just a humble beast like Donovan Edwards, who could run it down the throat of a team like Ohio State, like the Buckeyes in Ohio. You don't have to do a whole lot, man. But you look at CJ Stroud, man, he threw the ball a lot more times, 31 for 48. That's an offense that was made to throw the ball 40 plus times a game. It's just going to be a lot different. DeMonte Trayanum, pretty good running back. Keep your eye on this guy in the coming years. But yeah, 14 carries, 83 yards, 5.9 average. That's not a bad stat to take and have. And then, of course, Emeka Ogbunga, 9 receptions, 125 yards. Marvin Harrison Jr., 7 receptions for 120 yards. This guy, Marvin just might be my favorite receiver in all college football. Now, if those two are taking and tuning in, just to let you know, I don't have a favorite college football team. I'm more of a fan of players, but I love Michigan and what they did this game. They came, they saw, they conquered, they bit you. They did an Ozzy Osbourne. They bit the bat's head off stage. That's what happened today. Ohio State's a good team. They're a really good team, and they've been good for a long time. But listen, this isn't the Michigan team that has been bad forever since before last college football season, right? Jim Harbaugh, and so I tell people, be patient with what's happened down in Miami for the Miami Hurricanes. Be patient. You just got to be patient because you got to get a few recruiting classes in and stuff like that. And this is a result of being patient. This is a result in trusting your coach. Jim Harbaugh knows what he is doing. He's the best thing to happen to Michigan football in a long time, man. So go Jim Harbaugh. Now let's look at the total yards here. 530 yards. This is, even though most of this is running, I love it. I freaking love it, man. But 530 yards, that's very good. 492 by Ohio State. Obviously, Ohio State, 349 yards. I think CJ Stroud is going to do great. I'm assuming that he goes in the draft next year. He is going to take and do fantastic. But this game, man, he had those 2 interceptions, and NFL teams are going to watch that. They're going to take and see that. They're going to, they're going to, hey, this is something to consider, whether he comes the first person off the board or not, right? Then we got rushing. So it's where Ohio beat them in passing, but Michigan beat them in rushing. And the yards per play, obviously Michigan took and got that one here. This was great, man. I mean, lower penalties. Can't talk today, sorry. Lower penalties for Michigan. And then, of course, there was 9 penalties for Ohio State. No fumbles, but yeah, there was 2 interceptions that were thrown, man. And I think even if he didn't throw those interceptions, man, I think Michigan still would have won. I just think, hey, he got a little sloppy at the end of the game, right? So overall, fantastic game. Also, folks, if you're just now taking and tuning in, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. That takes and helps the channel to grow. I cover all 32 NFL teams, and occasionally I even do these big college football games. I had Hassan Haskins on. Shout out to Connor Jones. He's an offensive lineman. He's a freshman, but he's seen the field a little bit this year. He plays for Michigan right now. I've had him interviewed on this show before. And then Zach Marshall, who committed to Michigan. He will be playing for Michigan Wolverines next year. Who knows? He may even be a starting freshman or true freshman. Who knows? But yeah, I try to cover Michigan as much as possible, man. I love Michigan. Again, don't have a favorite college football team per se, more of a fan of players, but be sure to hit that subscribe button. Helps the channel to grow. But again, if you're just now taking and coming in here, man, these are the stats on the board. We got CJ Stroud, 31 for 48. And then, of course, CJ Stroud, he didn't really have any yards on his feet. But then, of course, you have JJ McCarthy, who he can get you yards on his feet, right? Definitely in past games, I'd like to see, the offense trust JJ McCarthy a little bit more, let him ball out, because we have not seen the best of JJ McCarthy. In my humble opinion, we haven't seen the best of him. This is a young man who he's not only destined for greatness, he's somebody who, he's a learner. He's passionate about the game. And you have a young man like that who just loves football. I mean, you heard at the end of the game, I've been wanting to play. I've been dreaming about playing here since I was 5 years old. That tells you something. You want a guy who just really loves football, man. That guy's going to be on somebody's NFL roster. I'm not saying he's going to be a starter. He's going to need some development, but that's a young man that we need to keep an eye on for sure. But, man, what a game today, y'all. 45-23? Woo, man, what a game. What a freaking game. Also, as well, folks, comment below. Let me know your thoughts on the game. Hit that subscribe button as well, too. It helps the channel to grow. I do a lot of NFL stuff on here. So, if you love NFL, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Also, I do have a lot of NFL draft prospects. We've had about 30 interviews to date. And it's just about that time of year, y'all. So, and also as well, if you want to go down below, donate, helps support the channel. I just did a move, so this is my typical background, but we'll be getting some neon lights up in here. Got a lot of cool stuff going on, y'all. So, anywho, thank you guys so much for tuning in. God bless you guys. Be safe. I hope y'all had a happy Thanksgiving. Look forward to doing more live shows again in the future. Have a great night, y'all. Catch you next time on the Touchdown with Doug Smith. In the meantime, I'm gonna go hit y'all with the dopest outro you ever heard in your life.
Touchdown with Doug Smith, celebrate, that's a new move. Heisman, 2 views, catch him on YouTube. NFL coverage, interviews, new news, who win, who lose, comedy, you choose. It's not about moolah, the QB's like Tua is mixing in action. No L's on my shula, play it like Marino, it's a gamble like casino. Hungry for it, but you know we still gon' try to feed the beef. Rivalries will lead the conference, Cowboys of the Eagles. Will Belichick be a threat, better check. Tomlin on deck, much respect to the vet. What to expect? Gotta tune in for the rest. Make sure to sub, like, chat. At the best, bad boy, the sports podcast. For the threat across the north, east, south, in the west. Sitting back clueless, time to tune in. Now another sports center.